You know you need to show up on camera for your community authentically and consistently, but something's holding you back. So let me ask you, what is holding you back? Are you camera shy? Do you feel like you don't know what to say when you finally do get on camera to talk to your circle of influence? Well, today in the Waist Up Wardrobe Studio, we're going to be talking to an online entrepreneur who knows fully what it means to show up authentically and consistently for her community and can tell us about how that has changed the trajectory of her business. But you know the drill. If you want to hear everything she has to say, you're going to have to stick around to find out. Welcome to Waist Up Wardrobe. I'm Christine Vartanian, a civil engineer and attorney turned personal style expert and image consultant. As the founder of Jade for All Seasons, I am passionate about unveiling the inner confidence of my clients by developing their personal style. But is getting dressed up still important in our virtual world? Well, that's where my experience can help with what I call Waist Up Wardrobe. Waist Up Wardrobe is a podcast for all things you need to conduct an outstanding Zoom meeting. It's about how to dress for the camera, but it's not just about the clothes. It's about everything you need to know to show up on brand and professionally for the camera. Join me in the Waist Up Wardrobe Studio to discuss how to navigate this virtual world and dominate from behind the desk. Hello, Virtual Nation. Welcome to another episode of Waist Up Wardrobe, episode 40, where we're going to be talking about if you're camera shy, let's get you over that and let's get you showing up on camera for your circle of influence, for your community so that you can grow your business. And we have a very special guest here today. She's an online entrepreneur who really knows how to do that. She's had such success and she's also seen the challenges of doing it. And she has so much to share here today. But before we get started, I just want to take a moment to say thank you for joining us today. Thank you to my producer, Rick Moscoso, who's always in the production room, making everything work and making this show really become an elevated show. And remember, Waist Up Wardrobe is on iTunes. So please go subscribe, rate us, review us, and listen to the episodes that you think apply to you, that you can learn from, because Waist Up Wardrobe is a show that can be taken all together where you can string every episode, listen to every episode, and really create a very professional online presence with every episode, the knowledge that you can gain from every episode. But it's also a library of content where you can take one episode on a particular topic and learn how to up-level your video presence, your virtual room presence. So if you wanted to hear about mindset and entrepreneurship and how you get that through the camera, we have an episode for that. If you want to learn about how to up-level the background and your set design, we have an episode about that. You want to know what to wear, what not to wear on camera? There's an episode for that too. But today's episode is going to be really focused on a mental thing that we need to get over as entrepreneurs who really have to take advantage of this online platform, all the platforms or one or two of the platforms that can help us grow our business by connecting with our community and building rapport. And so here today to help us do that is a very special guest. She's a longtime friend, but an entrepreneur who has been through so many seasons in her own business and is, has really worked in growing a company and growing her company within this direct sales marketing company and doing it for a long time. So she was serious about it and now has shifted her business in a completely different direction and has seen so much success just by showing up on camera. So let me introduce her, Lisa Blaisdell. Lisa Blaisdell is a successful six-figure online business coach. She helps women make decisions to transition to their next big career move. Lisa has worked in the traditional network marketing arena where she built a multi-million-dollar business and coached her teams to build online businesses using social media. She has a background in public relations, coaching executives on how to be media ready for interviews with media. Lisa made her own big decision when she left her first network marketing company in 2020, and she had been there for a long time. And so this was despite her tenure and success there. She started over at a new company. Lisa is passionate about helping women find their authentic voice, strengthen their confidence, and win both in business and in life. She's also a mom of two beautiful young ladies and has been married for a long time. And we will get more clarity on just how long in just a second. Welcome, Lisa. It's wonderful to have you here today.
Hi, Christine. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me. This is really fun. And I adore you. And I just so admire you, Christine, and the career shifts that you've made and the business that you have. And I love being your client. So I'm excited to be here.
Yes. Well, I appreciate you in every way, Lisa. And I'm really excited about this conversation because I know there are immediate action steps that people can take if they're listening to this or listening to the replay where they can make small adjustments in their online presence with video and showing up for the community that will show them instant reward. So We're going to talk about all of that. But before I do that, I have this thing that I like to do. It's called the Waist Up Word of 60 Seconds to Get to Know You. And This is a little window into your personal life. We want to know who you are. So it's a rapid fire, this or that question. So first question, cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Do you have
Hands
a dog?
down. Of course. I have a dog. I have a Springer Spaniel named Pepper. She's adorable. Everyone thinks their dog is the best dog ever, and I'm no exception. So.
Me too. I wake up every morning and say, "You're the best dog ever. How did I get so lucky to have you?" So I get
it. Right. They're the best.
East Coast or West Coast?
That's a hard one for me, Christine, because as we film this episode, I'm on the East Coast, and that is where I am from originally. I grew up in Southern New Hampshire. I went to college in Boston, but I have been a California resident for over 30 years. So I love California. I love the beaches. I love the weather. So I'm split, my friend. I'm split. I know. It's hard to choose.
That's a hard one. It's a hard one. So if you had a choice between eating well and just exercising, which one would you pick?
Oh, but I couldn't pick one.
I totally agree, by the way.
I'm going to say this because I'm such a big advocate of both, of eating well and having a healthy diet and exercising. But if people have to choose, eating well is going to trump the exercise because you cannot out-train a bad diet, as we know. And what we put in our bodies is so critically important. And so adding on the exercise is like the frosting on the cake, but we got to eat well. So
Yeah.
that's my
I love
roundabout answer to that.
I love that phrase you said. We can't did you say it can't
We
out
can't
diet?
out-train. We can't out-train a bad diet. So we can't
out-train.
out-exercise. Maybe in our 20s, maybe when we're in high school, we can go to McDonald's after, practice for the team sport that you're doing. But, as we age, we can't do that. What we fuel our bodies with is so important, as you know.
Yeah. And longevity is something that you're very passionate about because of the line of work you're in. Okay, finally, casual or dressy?
Oh, I'm a casual girl. I am. That's easy. That. You have to encourage me, which you do, to get dressy, and you've made some good suggestions through the years. So I'm grateful for that. But if I can be in my, Lulus and a comfy sweatshirt, then that's where I'm going to be.
Yeah. I mean, how many times have I tried to put you in an actual blazer, right? And you're like,
I know.
I'm just not that dressy. Like, I like to be a casual girl. So that was a trick question.
Yeah, I know. Well, you were good. You were good to ask that.
All right. Everybody out there that is listening to this or listening to the replay, please put your comments in the comments section so we can answer them on the spot if we can. And I just want to start, Lisa, by, diving right into this this idea and this inspiration that you are, where you have been very intentional in growing your business online and connecting with your circle of influence in this way through video, online, and consistently. Can you just give us a general overview of why that might be important for a business?
Sure. So I first want to say that I'm not a young woman. So I'm 53. I started in business before there was social media. I built in my first, company that I was with that you referenced. I built that business in person to person. There was no Facebook, no Instagram. It's definitely dating me. But, I built my business that way, belly to belly, as they say. And I loved it because I love people and I love being in relationship and I love making connections. But when social media emerged, it became apparent really quickly that we needed to get our heads around this platform. And it took me some time, as I think it took most of us some time, to really get our heads around it. But I realized that this is an opportunity to do exactly what I was doing belly to belly, but doing it to a larger audience. I mean, social media has expanded our worlds, tenfold. And so to not lean into the opportunities that social media presented itself with, I felt was a missed opportunity. And I'm sure that most of your listeners would agree because, who could have predicted when Facebook was launched? I think it was like in 2007 or 2008. Who could have predicted that we would have had the 2020 that we had, and that it would really require people to pivot and to really show up online? So that, I knew in my heart that this was something, I think a lot of people were skeptical if this was going to, be an everlasting platform and vehicle for doing business. And I had a feeling that this was going to be something that was significant and that was here to stay. And it is. It really is. So yeah, I had to have conversations with myself. I had to force myself to get uncomfortable, and I had to, really decide how much I wanted to create a successful business. It's because there's lots of people in my industry and there's lots of, women and people that I work with that choose not to embrace these platforms. And that's fine, except they're just not playing at a level that they could be if they were.
Yeah. It's that missed opportunity. And you're so right. Because when we ended up shifting to this at-home working world and this waist-up workforce, right, that we're in, I too had that feeling that this is never going away. Yeah. And the reason I thought that is that it actually, even though it has its downsides, it has a lot of upsides.
It does.
Right?
It does.
And gives you this opportunity that you wouldn't have otherwise had to connect with people.
Yeah.
So we really are never going to go back fully to the way we used to
Right.
do business, but some things are going to go back, some things aren't. But this opportunity to be virtual, this opportunity to connect from a technology standpoint and use the platforms that we have access to
Right.
is really a great opportunity, another way to market to your
Right.
target market,
Right.
right?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think most savvy, your listeners, Christine, are very savvy and they're smart, business people. They're paying attention to this and they're already participating at some level, I'm sure.
Yes.
I'm sure. But there's challenges with that. So, which is why my partner and I created the course that we did so that we can help people, have a bridge to enter into
Yeah.
this scary online video world that we're
Right.
on.
And
Yes.
I love that you actually took the initiative of creating a full course. And I'm assuming here that the course really is the objective of the course is to teach people how to show up authentically and consistently and give them tips and tools that we're going to be talking about here today. So we might get a
Yes.
little teaser into the course, and then it would be wonderful to then when your course does come out, we can actually link it to this episode,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
this
It's
episode
actually
will be
launched. It has launched.
Oh,
So yeah,
well, we have
we'll
to
be able
link
to
it
do that.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll be able to do it.
that would be awesome. So let me ask you, Lisa, how did you get started? Like, I know that there was a time when you're thinking, okay, I've got to pivot, I've got to do something, I've got to take advantage of this opportunity.
Yeah.
So how did you decide to get started? Like, what was the first step?
Well, I think, for me, it was hearing that other people in my industry, other leaders that I admire, were also showing up on camera and going live, whether it was on Facebook or Instagram. Those were really the two big long form platforms, and long form meaning you can have a longer conversation. Although I would say that most people today have a very short attention span. So I really, we really teach people that the shorter the better, because you're not going to get the time. People just aren't going to listen to you go on and on for a long time unless you're Oprah or someone that has a very strong, powerful brand that they're already following. So I was following people that were showing up and going live and doing really well. So, like any good student, I do what successful people do. And I thought, all right, I need to play in this space. I need to start to show up. So I just started. And, Christine, I do have a background in public speaking. I have a degree in communications. I've done a lot of public speaking venues in the past, both in my last career in PR and with my last company, training and teaching other people. So I have a level of confidence that I know a lot of people don't necessarily bring to the table. But the way I looked at this was, it's the same as when I'm on stage training or teaching or presenting. It's just a different audience and it's a different vehicle. So I had a little bit of an advantage in terms of, just having that skill set already. But I realized that most people don't, and that is okay. And that's where the authenticity piece comes in, because we have to be ourselves. I mean, I was watching these women going live and just really admiring them and just watching them, but I knew I couldn't be them. I knew, I didn't really, it's not that I didn't want to be them. I want their success. I certainly gleaned from them and learned from them, but I realized that I had to be me.
Yeah.
I had to be me, and I had to do it my way. And you can do it by being yourself, but you can also get better. So that's really where, the course comes into play. And as I grew and as I watched and as I learned, I did take courses myself, because I wanted to know what makes up a successful video, what makes up a successful live, what are the components, how do I keep doing it consistently, and how do I not run out of things to say, and all of the things that go through our heads when we start thinking about this and we start trying to talk ourselves out of it.
Right.
So I did lean in and learn, because I wanted to grow and I wanted to get better.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, everything you said, I think most entrepreneurs totally relate to, and the idea of showing up authentically, we hear about it all the time.
Yep.
And if we really dissect what that means, showing up authentically, it's not about staging everything, right? It's about really just sometimes being off the cuff.
Right.
And it means sometimes, just being yourself, not trying to really fit into somebody else's persona. But
Right.
you make a really good point, because we all learn from each other. I mean, we all have people that inspire us. So definitely mentors and people that are doing what we want to do, or people that end up doing things that they see us doing. So there's all this like cross inspiration, and so important to realize that your way of showing up authentically is unique. You're a different person than anybody else. You deliver in a different way. You have a different voice. So all those things are so important. So let me ask you, when somebody's deciding, okay, I've listened to Lisa and I really need to start doing this. What is that number one thing that they need to do to kind of establish a solid connection right off the bat? Is there like one tip or one thing that you think would really propel them in the right direction?
Well, I think the most important thing that they can do is be vulnerable with their audience and just be honest with people and come to the table, come to the live saying, "Hi, I'm Lisa. This is my first live and I'm really nervous, but I'm really committed to myself and my growth. And I want to come on here and I want to add value." Coming to every single live with the intention of adding value and just adding value, I think is the most important thing, because where we get stuck and where we talk ourselves out of it is when we think that we've got to sell the thing that we're selling. And we've got to talk about the topic that consumes us in our businesses. And we don't. We need to show up and add value. Maybe it relates to the topic, maybe, or, to your business, maybe it, doesn't, but if it adds value, then you can really relax in that and be comfortable that what you have to say is going to help somebody. And that's, so knowing that you can say something that's going to help someone, even if it's just a little tip of the day. Here's how I figured out an easy way to make my kids' lunches, that doesn't take up an hour of my morning, and they'll eat them, they'll eat the lunch. To just being honest and being authentic and saying, "I'm really nervous. I'm going to start sharing some things with you. I care about you and I'm scared, but I'm here doing it anyway."
Yeah.
I'm telling you, when people do that, it's just people fall in love with who you are, because you're being honest and you're being vulnerable and you're coming with the intention of serving them and of really helping them and helping their life in some way. I really think that people open up social media, regardless of the platform, there's lots now, but they open it up looking for a way to have a better life in some way, whether it's feeling better, getting a good laugh, getting a shopping tip, getting a clothing tip, on what to wear. People are looking for a way to learn and grow and get better so that their lives are better.
Yeah, to add value to their lives.
To add value.
They are researching. They want to discover what you've discovered. They want to, learn from maybe mistakes you've made or whoever they're actually being inspired by. So they are looking for value.
They are.
So when we talk about you showing up on camera, Lisa, consistently for your sphere of influence, can you tell me which platforms you actually use and what you do, and what is like this consistency that you have mapped out for yourself?
So the big platform that has really been the foundation, I would say, of my business is Facebook. And, I know that things are changing and I know that other platforms are coming into play. But I primarily use Facebook and Instagram. I do love TikTok, though, I have to say. Love it.
We have options.
I know we have options. And here's the thing, short form video, i.e. TikTok, Reels on Instagram, are definitely trending as of the timing of this podcast. They are definitely what people are wanting more of because they're shorter, they're quicker. We've just conditioned ourselves to have this, 10-second mindset that, people don't want to watch anything longer than a certain amount of time. However, Facebook has become a community for me full of friends and family and people that I have developed relationships with and I have added value to. So I do have influence with that audience. And it is where I have shown up consistently for years. So I do still lean into Facebook and I do add value there because even though I think a lot of people get discouraged with Facebook from time to time, I do think, especially for our age group, no, my young adult daughters are not on Facebook, but I think a lot of people our age and the people that I want to do business with are on Facebook.
Yeah.
And then you can take your Facebook Live. This is like a little advanced, but you can take your Facebook Live and you can create other content with that topic.
That repurposing piece,
Yeah.
right? You
Yep.
can use a main platform and then you can take that and either, you can redact it or,
Yep.
break it up and you
Yep.
can use it on your various platforms. So
That's right.
how often do you actually show up on one of your platforms?
I show up every day on my platforms.
Wow.
I do. I show up every day. I mean, some days I'm better than others. But I post on Facebook every day. I post on Instagram every day. Stories. If you're someone that, really wants to be consistent with your message and have the permission to sell a little bit more, stories is a great vehicle for that. I actually love stories. I think that's my favorite.
Why is it your favorite?
It's my favorite because I am like truly myself. Some days I'm sweaty and unshowered in my stories. You can just share your life and, in a really fun, easy way. And you can just truly share with people. And I don't know, I really appreciate that I can keep up with people on stories. I can keep up. They can keep up with me. You don't need to tell a million people what you're up to because they just know. It's fun.
Yeah, it's like a day in the life of you,
It is.
right?
It is. And you think that what you have going on in your life is not exciting to you. And maybe it's not, but people find it fascinating.
Yeah.
So, it's fun. So I just would give people permission to show up there because it's a really fun way to engage. And that's the whole point of going live is to engage with other people and to get into conversation. That when I'm coaching someone and I'm teaching someone about going live and the whole purpose is to get into conversation offline. And that's why we're doing this. And I love stories because it gives people a really easy way for them to comment on something that you're doing or a recipe you just tried or whatever. And then all of a sudden you're chatting with them and you can connect with them and lead it to something that might be great for both of you.
It's
So,
definitely the new way of building relationships,
yeah.
wouldn't you say?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
100%. I mean, the people that are in my life on social media on a consistent, regular basis, I am in better relationship with them now than the people who are not, because I'm not seeing the people who are not.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just not seeing them at all.
It's the access. You have this access to this other person that you otherwise wouldn't have had because,
Yep.
Geography maybe separated us. I mean, this is also the other exciting thing about showing up on camera and about being building those relationships online in whatever platform, whether it's TikTok or Reels or Stories or Facebook, however it is. I mean, some people are very, LinkedIn is their primary way of
Yep.
building relationships. So, but it is the new way to stay connected to people and to go deep. You can go deep. People don't realize that they can actually have really strong relationships and business relationships when they are on virtual connecting platforms.
Oh,
Wouldn't you say?
100%. 100%. You mentioned this. I left my last company and I joined a new company in 2020. All of that was done through conversations on Zoom. I've hired 2 coaches in the last 6 months. All of that was done virtually. I just met my business coach 2 days ago. I'd never met her before. Haven't met the second coach. It's, this is the norm. This is how, look at our kids in the last year. They're going to school virtually. So, although I agree with you, Christine, a lot will go back to the way that we prefer to live our lives, and that's a good thing. But some things aren't going to change. And we do have to lean into, deepening these relationships, trusting the process and the connections, and just continuing to show up so that people know who we are. Because if you're not, people are making buying decisions on all different things in their lives virtually.
Completely agreed. I end up, doing all of my purchasing online through Instagram, and I'm connected with the people who are selling me this stuff, but it's all virtual. And
Yep.
this is why Waist Up Wardrobe is here to stay. The
Yes.
waist up workforce is here to stay. It's not something that's going away. It might change and shift, but we will always, I think employers and companies and individuals will always see that benefit of utilizing their virtual office and connecting with
Absolutely.
people that way. And so it takes practice, would you say? I mean, I guess for people who are, you have a communications background, for some people it's harder than others, but it does take practice. I feel
Yes.
as though when I started Waist Up Wardrobe, I mean, I really didn't like to be on camera on a regular basis. I really didn't. It was not something that it actually gave me a little bit of anxiety. But I have to say, I am at that point where it doesn't give me anxiety anymore.
Yep.
I enjoy communicating with my audience in this way.
Yep.
And I feel like I'm connected with them consistently. So we're always communicating.
Yep.
So it does take a little practice, because I did have a little bit of a hump at the beginning, but I feel like now it is almost part of who I am, and it is part of my work. So tell me about your comfort level going in, and if really you needed that, practice time personally.
Yes, it's Christine, I'm so proud of you, because it was uncomfortable. Anything that you do for the first time is going to be uncomfortable for a bit. It's think about it. It's anything new that we take on is going to be uncomfortable for a little bit. But, look at how you've grown, Christine, and how it's grown you as a business person, as a woman. And, that's what I love the most. I love to see these women come alive, because they're moving through their fears, and they're doing something scary, and they're being vulnerable, and they're showing up, and people love them, and they're being applauded for their efforts, and it's helping them grow their businesses. So, my tip there is that you just have to start. You just have to start. You have to decide to start. And, everyone's desire to grow and contribute and grow a business and, do all the things that come from growing a business, that will determine their level of commitment to this. I mean, for me, I wanted to grow, I want to make a big impact. And so it was like, okay, well, this is what I have to do.
Right.
And there's a lot of days that I don't want to, but I do it anyway, because it's like you said, like it becomes a part of you. Showing up becomes a part of you.
You push through that discomfort. I think that's sort of part of the journey of an entrepreneur, is you push through the discomfort, because on the other side, you will have that, you will get there, you will settle into it, and you will get there, but you have to get, through that first push. And, and the thing is, we know a lot of things, right? We know we have to eat well, and we know we have to exercise, and now we know we have to show up on video. But knowing and doing, I always say, are two different things, right? You can know a
100%.
lot, and you can learn a lot, and you can read a lot. But if you're not taking action, if you're not doing anything about it, then what's the point, right? So it is really important to recognize and be aware that there's a difference between knowing and doing, and then to really kind of push yourself through that discomfort. So generally speaking, what would be, you think, the main reason why people decide you shy away from it? No pun intended. Maybe it's just camera shyness.
They're just shy. They just, the number one thing that I hear from women is that, and no offense, men, but I do work mostly with women, so men should go live too, is that they don't feel that they have anything to say. They don't think that they have anything worthy. They don't have any value to bring to the table. And so that's one of the big things that we tackle in our course, is we give them ideas. We get their mindsets in the right place first, right? Because we know that all this is mindset. And so we get their mindsets in the right place, that they do have something to say and that there are people who want to hear from them. And then we give them ideas on where to get some content that they can go on live and share. They can share so many different things, books, podcasts, great podcasts that they've listened to.
Yeah.
I've shared so much content from great podcasts that I've listened to through the years, because not everybody can listen to every podcast that you've listened to. I mean, it's just not possible. And people want the cliff notes to things. And that's really what I love to teach people, is that you can cliff note a chapter of a book, a great TV series. My partner Tracy did a great live once on why everyone should watch Schitt's Creek. It was so great. It was great. Workout tips, healthy living tips. There's so many things that we could be talking about, but I think people, they just wake up in the morning and they don't think that they have anything of value to add, and that's not true. So we work on the mindset piece first, and then we equip them with topics and ideas.
Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. I always say that, when people are telling me, well, I don't know, I don't have anything to talk about, or I don't know what to say, I always say that, and this is something I think about when I'm on stage, giving a talk to a group of people about styling or whatever, image consulting or whatever it is. But, you have to be ordinary in some ways as the expert. You have to be ordinary so people can relate to you, but you also have to be extraordinary. You have to be both. You have to be a little bit ordinary. You have to be a little bit extraordinary. And the ordinary part is the part that binds you with your audience as, oh, she can relate to me. She's a mom. She has kids, that kind of thing. Right. And then the extraordinary part is that part that you add to them. This is what they don't know, that you're going to educate them on. So when I love that you said that about, the mindset of people thinking, I have nothing to add, I have no value to add. It's, you need to overcome that and really think about, you're ordinary. Yes, you are, because we all are in some ways. We have common things that we have in common with each other, but we're also extraordinary because we have a unique journey that we've been through, so that's really, really cool that, that you have tips for that. And I just I'm going to put Rick Moscoso, my producer, on the spot and bring him up and the reason I do this is because we have actually had this conversation. Rick does a lot of my video production, making my how-to videos and my, all the video really, he creates that for me. And we've had this conversation about people simply just sometimes don't know what to say. So Rick, are you there? Are you going to come up and join us?
I am. However, for the first time in any of these shows that we've ever done, I'm the one that's having trouble with internet. So, so my service has been throttled way down. So I'm not going to take any chance and just do audio only. So you can hear me.
No problem. Although I do like to see you wearing my waist up wardrobe hat, but I totally get it. But this is the thing too, technology, right? Don't be scared of technology. Right. It can stump us. That was one of my blocks. I was like, well, I don't want to show up if I'm going to have internet problems. I want to show up if my sound drops. This is crazy. I don't want to show up imperfect, but that's what makes us ordinary. And that's we all accept that technology can be a problem. But Rick, on this topic, on this question of people, often tell you in the work that you do, well, I don't know what to say. What do I say? Talk to us about that.
Yeah, it's kind of, I have to chuckle when people say that when the camera is just about to go on record. A lot of times it happens before then, because by the time we go on record, I'll have taught them what to say or coached them on what to say. But, if it's your first time, it's really your opportunity to share your expertise and, share your knowledge, share your experiences, share your experiences in the form of a story, right? And tell a story, tell an experience that happened, because a lot of people can relate to maybe a story that you've shared with another client that you've had. And it's like, oh yeah, that happened to me. I totally get it, and then all of a sudden, they open up to you. They're more receptive to your ideas, to your help, to your coaching. So it's just, when don't get so pigeonholed in thinking, I have to stand on the podium and this is what I have to do. No, it's not like that at all. If you share your experiences on how you helped somebody get through a problem, because that's basically what business is, right? Helping people get through problems or solving problems for other people. Then there's a ton of other people out there that are going to want the same type of help and advice, and will appreciate the knowledge that you share because it's so compelling in the way that you can potentially present it to them. So
absolutely. I think that's, so this is a very common thing that people think. I don't have anything to say because, and evidence of it being common is that your course includes all these, suggestions of how to, what do you talk about when you don't have anything to talk about?
Right.
Basically, right? And it's funny because Rick, in this other area of his expertise, he runs into it too. It's like people don't realize the goodness that's in them, and women even more so, I would say.
For
Don't
sure.
you think, Lisa?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah, we really have talked ourselves out of thinking that we have anything of value, and that breaks my heart. So that's, like I said before, that's a big piece of what we do, and we really do help women with their mindset. Because that's everything, once we can get a hold of that, then we can really have some fun and start to make an impact and start to help other people.
Absolutely. And we've inspired, this show today has inspired another topic for Waist Up Wardrobe, what to talk about when you have nothing to talk about. I love that, because that is a common problem. And,
it is.
Here as I do my podcast every week, I'm trying to think, how can I give value to somebody? What is somebody challenged with that I can actually give them some tips that they can take away and put right into action?
Right.
Well, Lisa, I am so excited that we got to talk to you about this today, because you are somebody who's put all this into practice and you've seen and you've reaped rewards. Can you give us a couple of, share a little bit of some of the rewards, some of the really great fruit that has been born from this work?
There's so many. I mean, we have helped so many women, and seeing them show up on live video and seeing them come alive. I have this one amazing woman in my team. She is adorable. She sings. She's a singer. And so she got brave. She started going live. And then she started once in a while, not all the time, but once in a while, she will come on and sing. And people absolutely love her, and she's brightening people's days, and it's helping her grow her brand and her business and her coaching business. She's a health coach, and she's just adorable, and she's just really grown in her own professional way, and it just makes me so proud of her. And another gal on my team, she's adorable. She had to deal with the fact that her mom didn't like her showing up. This is what could happen. The committee, the committee in your lives may not like you playing in a bigger way, right? Like all of a sudden you're on a platform, you're on a social media platform, and the regular people in your life, i.e. your family, might have a problem. And this woman was so amazing. She was so brave. She was like, Mom, I know you're just trying to protect me from, having people say that they don't like what I have to say, but this is important to me. I want to go live. I'm going to continue to go live. And she had a choice. She could have, because this was halfway through our course, she could have stopped. I mean, no one's, we're not holding people accountable other than just holding people accountable in terms of, do your best. But she could have stopped. She could have stopped the process, and she didn't. And she kept going, and she came out the other side. She was so proud of herself. Her mom had a different perspective and had more respect for her as a businesswoman, versus being her daughter, being a wife and mom. She really was elevated in her professionalism. And it was so rewarding. And plus seeing, people grow their businesses and, impact more people and have more people reaching out to them and helping them get into more conversation with people. So
love the example of,
I know.
Love the example of a client or the person you were coaching that sings on camera. I mean, that is the extraordinary piece, right? For her.
It's so great. It's so great. It makes her happy, makes her community happy. And talk about just showing up. we say value, add value. She's adding value because she's making people happy. She's bringing joy to her community. And I think we would all agree that anytime we open any kind of anything, any screen of any kind, to get joy on the other side is pretty awesome.
Well, it's entertainment. It's
Yeah, that's
entertainment
right.
is what
That's
it is.
right.
I mean, not only
That's
are
right.
you're connecting with your audience, but you're giving them something that is, your persona, but you're also entertaining. And that is a form of
It's
really
true.
connecting with people.
It's true.
Right?
It's true. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
So I know that you have something very special for our audience today that they can actually use as a tool. Can you tell us what that is?
Ooh.
And for the audience members who are listening right now, or might possibly be looking, watching the replay, we have a lot of people that come on the replay, and we'll leave this open till the end of the day. If you could put hashtag show up and shine, Lisa has something special for you. What is it, Lisa?
I have a headline cheat sheet.
Love
So
that.
one of the things that comes up for people, when you go live, you need to have a title, because otherwise no one is going to stop their scroll to watch what you have to say. You want to have a compelling headline. This is something that we teach our clients and our students. So we have a cheat sheet of like 100 headlines to give you, and then the headlines will give you ideas on topics. So we've got that document for you, and we will send it out as people put in the comments, and I will go back and track things.
Yes.
Yes.
So Elaine is here, and Elaine, if you put in the hashtag show up and shine, we will be sending you this list of headlines that you can use. I imagine they're catchy phrases, things that get people's attention.
And they're all done for you. They're all done for you. They're great. They're written in a way that is going to enable people to stop and watch what you have to say. We're competing for people's time. It's just like TV and everything else. We're competing
100%
for people's time on social media. So anything that's going to stop the scroll is going to be powerful.
Oh, I want that sheet. That sounds fantastic.
Well, I will send it to you.
It is so cool. This course that you're creating that gives people some tools, right? Ideas. Because sometimes we're very what stops us is that we just feel blocked in a way, right? Well, what do I call it? What do I say? So it sounds like your course really equips people with all of those tools and gets them to think about that and just gives them suggestions so they can at least have a start point. So one of the things we do, Lisa, at the very end of the Waist Up Wardrobe show is we do a Waist Up Wardrobe weekly wrap up, because we want to give everybody, the great little nuggets, the takeaways that they can just, take away with them and go. So give us the one overarching takeaway that everybody should really focus on. If they take nothing else away, what would that be?
If you take nothing else away, know that you have something to say. You have value to add to your community on social media platforms. They are waiting for you to show up and to add value into their lives. And what you don't realize is how it is going to help you grow as a business person, as a professional, as a human. And the good that you get back from showing up on a regular basis is going to enrich your life more than you can possibly know. So just get started.
Yes.
Just get started.
Absolutely. Yeah. So the hashtag again is show up and shine, and put that in the comment box, because I really think there's so much goodness in this idea that, what do you write? What do you put as your headline? So I really appreciate you giving that to the audience. I know that's probably a proprietary thing that you've created that's going into your course. So it's a good little window into the course. So thank you for doing that, Lisa.
Of course.
Some tips for the audience, like 1 or 2 quick tips.
1 or 2 quick tips. Be consistent. Be consistent. Decide, if you're going to go once a week, go once a week. Hold yourself accountable to once a week. I try to go live at the same time every time. I try to, so that your audience gets a handle on, when you're going to be showing up. You don't have to be perfect every time you go live. Don't, stress over it. And just keep going. Just keep going and be in relationship with the people who are showing up. So when people comment, comment back, engage with them. So, just start, be consistent, engage with the people who are connecting with you because they want to connect with you for a reason. And just know that it's a build it, they will come process.
Yes.
Build it and they will come.
Exactly.
So just like your podcast, Christine, build it and they will come.
Absolutely. 100%. So I love this thing about perfection, right? Because we as entrepreneurs sometimes are really hung up on perfection. And let me just say that perfection is the opposite of authenticity sometimes, right? You're trying to, and I am guilty of it myself. I mean, that is something I had to overcome as a woman in business because I always wanted to really get everything just right. And it really is not like that in life. As we saw that Rick couldn't get his camera to work and he's my producer. So he has high-tech equipment. It happens to the best of them. That's the moral of the story. Some tools. I mean, I think this deliverable that you're giving everybody is an amazing, outstanding tool. So I would say that would be the tool for everybody to really hang on to. And action items, because like we said, knowing and doing are two different things, but give the audience one action item today, Lisa, where they can go and just put it right into action. Doesn't require a lot of work.
So just get in your stories, Facebook or Instagram. If, I think most people have Instagram, and just post a picture of something. Just start. That's how that was self-taught for me completely. You don't have to go on camera, post something that, post your lunch. You're eating lunch. Post your lunch. So just start in the story because the story is going to give you more confidence to do more. So if you're having a hard time getting on Facebook and hitting that live button, start in the story and just start posting and sharing and knowing that it doesn't matter, that people are going to want to know what you're up to.
Absolutely, 100%. Lisa, thank you so much for all this wonderful information.
I'm excited.
I'm so excited to really learn more about your course. I think there's so much there that you have. I mean, you've done it all and you've been challenged, but you've also had so much success and you've coached people through this. So there is probably so much wealth of information there. I always say, if you want the shortcut, go to the expert, go to somebody who's done it and they've tried it and they've, and they know. So you don't have to make the mistakes. They've made the mistakes for you. So I'm really excited about your course. Good luck on that. I think it's going to be fabulous and phenomenal. And thank you so much for joining us. So
I'm so honored that you had me, Christine. This was so much fun. And I hope that this helps and inspires your audience. And, I can't wait. Go find me on Facebook. I'm there, Lisa Blaisdell. And if you go live, let me know so I can come and cheer you on because I love to do that. I love to encourage people regardless of whether they've taken our course or not and just support them in their journey because I know how big it is.
I love that. So people can find you on Facebook at Lisa Blaisdell, right?
Yeah, Lisa Parkhurst Blaisdell. And then if they're curious about the course, they can message me and I can share with them more info. I'm also on Instagram, Lisa Blaisdell. I'm on all the things.
So, yes, of course you are because you show
on all
up.
The things.
You show up.
I show up.
There you have it, Waist Up Wardrobe Nation. Lisa Blaisdell with all that online entrepreneurial goodness. And I really think that if you just took one action item and put it into practice, that you will see a difference and you will make an impact. Remember, we are all extraordinary in some ways and we're all ordinary in one ways. That's what gets us relatable. The ordinary part makes us relatable and the extraordinary part makes what we have to say very valuable. So join us next week, same time, same place, 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, where we're going to be talking to an expert about how to give that great client experience to your clients in our virtual world. As an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as somebody who has services or products, how would you deliver an outstanding client experience, one that's a Rolls Royce, high-end, white glove, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. We're going to have the expert that's going to talk all about that next time. So when you get here next week, join us with a friend and download us on iTunes, rate us and review us if you are so inclined to do that, because we'd be very appreciative. And we can't wait to see you next week when we bring you some new information, because everybody has a lot of value to offer. Everybody is ordinary. So we can relate to you, but we also bring you guests who are extraordinary because they're the experts in their field. So see you next time.